is shifting for the better, how sleep impacts learning? Raise your hand if you had less than 6 hours of sleep last night. Now raise your hand if you had between 6 and 8 hours of sleep. Now raise your hand if you had more than 8 hours of sleep. The recommended amount is 9 hours per night. For high school students, almost 80% of kids don't get enough sleep. If they get 1 hour less than usual, they face significant academic and psychological consequences. There are about 3.1 million teachers employed in U.S. public school systems and 14.7 million high school students. These teachers spend 180 days with the same kids day in and day out. Do they notice the kids are constantly working? Do they see kids sleeping in class? Diligent and responsible senior students have completed more than 3,000 assignments so far in their high school years. In addition, high school life is full of activities: sports, social life, family life, drama productions, community service, jobs, and school functions. Is there any room for sleep? Sleep directly impacts learning. Sleep is the lowest priority, although it shouldn't be. Balancing activities, homework, and following the existing schedule has altered my sleep and made me wonder if my own learning has been impacted. Every school day, fatigue is a player. I'm going to be late. I'm not going to be alert for my first class. I have a presentation along with 3 quizzes. I do not have time for breakfast. I missed open spots in first parking, and I have a game tonight. What am I going to do? As I realized how often school starting during the second period class would solve many of my dilemmas, school start times became a passion. What I remember most from my high school experience is working on homework until 2 or 3 in the morning, hitting snooze 5 or 6 times in the morning, and not having time for breakfast before I run out the door for a 7:30 a.m. start time. How can I forget it? Being physically, mentally, and emotionally exhausted has always been part of my school life. From the time school starts in the fall to final exams at the end of the year, I'm surrounded by tired faces. Sitting in class, I hear 1 yawn, 2, 3, 4. Then it just gets so distracting, no one can concentrate. I see a few students closing their eyes, then fighting off sleep and nodding their heads every few minutes. The aroma of Dunkin' Donuts lattes fills the hallway. Day after day, the fatigue cycle continues. The early school schedule creates tired kids, frustrated parents, and overworked teachers. Schools in America have found this to be a problem. Working around what is best for their students, these schools change their schedules to later school start times. More sleep means less tardies and absences, more students paying attention in class, and better grades. High school student learning in the United States is greatly impacted by adolescent sleep cycles, daily school schedule, and school policy. Students will benefit, schools will benefit, and communities will benefit when adolescent sleep is a priority. Adolescent sleep needs are unique. Experts describe how quality sleep directly correlates to productive learning environments and health improvement. Sleep patterns follow circadian rhythms. Circadian rhythms are the natural sleep-wake cycle unique to an individual. Medical experts have seen consequences firsthand as the number of sleep disorders increase due to forcing children to follow a particular schedule. Pediatricians discuss how children are sleep deprived and recommend schools adjust starting times to 8:30 a.m. or later. Circadian rhythm is not only impacted by school start times, but also the time kids are waking up to catch the bus and the time they fall asleep at night. The body's natural sleep-wake cycle is difficult to shift. Students can't physically or mentally fall asleep earlier. Director of Sleep Center, Dr. Duray, describes a hormone the brain secretes in the evening to induce drowsiness. The body's natural sleep-wake cycle shifts, and it's actually harder for teenagers to fall asleep earlier than 11 p.m. Teenagers' bodies release melatonin later than adults do. All electronic devices should be turned off an hour or 2 before bed. The blue light from them suppresses melatonin production. He also advised avoiding physical and mental stimulation close to bedtime. Prior to bedtime, high school students are often completing homework assignments on the computer or coming home from a late game, which contradicts what doctors are saying. Accommodating high school students' sleep by later start times is a solution. From the source, the impact of the school start times on adolescent health and academic performance, students can't change the time they go to bed. Contrary to what one might think, teens whose schools have later start times do use the extra time for sleep. They don't stay up later, but go to bed the same time they always have and sleep later in the morning. Adjusting for this natural circadian rhythm by changing school schedules would enable students to sleep longer and maximize their learning potential. Professor Wolfson states, This then provides a pathway whereby the students are better rested at school and have better attendance and report better moods. These policy changes may have a major impact on health and education of adolescents. Knowing that high school students are sleep deprived, 43% of U.S. public high schools continue to start before 8 a.m. Evidence supports later start times. The challenge is how individual schools will make this adjustment. The process of altering school schedules presents multiple obstacles and concerns. In a study for educational improvement, assumptions play a major role in discussions of changing school start times. Cascading mentions the transportation department rules the district, and this schedule cannot change because of bus problems. The power of the school schedule is not given the appropriate authority. The public, various community departments, and even school employees fight for a tradition that is no longer research supported. Change will not come if we wait for some other person or if we wait for some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change that we see. Anything worthwhile takes perseverance and effort. A news article investigates how Glens Falls in New York changed their start time and the positive impact it made on school tardiness, courses passed, and sleep needs. Immediately, the change paid off. The percentage of students who were late to school dropped by almost 30%. This data should be enough to motivate other schools to follow this path. Looking at Bow High School, it is apparent that a simple schedule change would assist sleep deprivation and without drastic changes to the current school policy. I sent out 3 surveys via email over the summer, one for teachers, students, and parents. We had a great response, as you can see from the numbers, especially considering it was summer vacation. I appreciate everyone who participated, significantly helping my project and future projects. From the student survey, approximately 70% of students go to bed after 10 p.m. These students are roughly getting 7 hours per night, 2 hours less than the recommended amount for this age group. Only 20% of high school students that responded to the survey ride the bus to school. The bus factor should not be an issue. 67% of students said they were more alert for their second period class compared to their first. If a change is made to Bow High School, parents and students agree that breaks should be moved to the beginning of the day. 68% of teachers support changing the break time or removing break altogether. And also, teachers revealed that their first period class had a 33% tardy rate. Remember, Glens Falls High School had a 30% improvement when they switched their school start time. All the results from the 3 surveys will help Bow High School to make decisions. I am sure the Bow community will be interested in these results. I am making them available on my feasibility study, which will soon be available on Bow High School announcements. Students will benefit, schools will benefit, and communities will benefit when adolescent sleep is a priority. The issue and need for change is prevalent based on my work with surveys, interviews, discussions with other schools, and talking with family and friends. They want this change to happen. The process of changing the school schedule is difficult, but not impossible. I'm only a student, but what I have done with my project is only started discussions for the topic, but I added research from surveys and other school experiences, as well as connecting with school administration to get the process rolling. The results from my survey alone will definitely lead to some change based on what parents, students, and faculty have to say. My work can be used later, when an authorized member wants to take on this challenge. This topic is not going to disappear. Schools across the country are going to be bombarded with research and passionate individuals who believe small changes to school policy can lead to improvement in sleep and ultimately learning. Increasing public, community, and school awareness through surveys and education should be a first step. High school student learning in the United States is greatly impacted by adolescent sleep cycles, daily school schedule, and school policy. No more traditional excuses. Changing the schedule is too much work. It's been this way for 100 years. When you have a passion to make a positive change, don't let others discourage you. Find a new approach. Think outside the box. Students will benefit, schools will benefit, and communities will benefit when adolescent sleep is a priority. Thank you.
Questions for Sammy? Can you talk about the process of putting your survey together? Like, what went into that?
So I had an email